Welcome back to Rooted in Rising. This discussion and reflection session accompanies our Romans 1 verses 16 through 17 Bible study. Before we revisit the passage through reflection questions, we're going to begin with a brief faith check in. These statements are designed to help us honestly evaluate where we are in our walk with Christ and consider how our understanding of faith may have grown through studying God's Word. As you move through each activity, feel free to pause, journal, or spend time in prayer. Let's begin.
Okay, so this icebreaker activity is actually a little different than the ones that we've done in the past or even recently. I found that as I was unpacking the text, something that stood out to me was um, our understanding of faith and the faith that we live with daily. So I wanted to create a faith check-in. So this activity called Faith in Me calls you guys to rate each statement 1 through 5 and keep your score specifically for specific questions that you notice or stands out to you. Um, 1 stands for rarely, 3 is sometimes, 5 is pretty consistently or like near perfection. Um, yeah, so like keep the scores like um maybe like on like your notes in your phone or like on a piece of paper. I don't know. But number 1 says, I can move forward without having all the answers. 2, I trust God's timing when my plans are delayed. 3, I find it easy to accept God's forgiveness after I fail. 4, I spend more time focused on what God is doing than on what I have done wrong. 5, I am willing to obey even when I feel uncertain. 6, my daily choices reflect what I say I believe. 7, I regularly encourage the faith of others. And 8, I believe God can use me despite my failures and weaknesses. You can be as honest as you would like in this because, I mean, these answers are your answers. We're not going to share our individual scores. It's more so for you to reflect on the faith that you are currently living in. Alrighty. Um, I also did an additional icebreaker activity. This one's more for the self. I also have one for the group. This one's titled Living by Faith. What does it mean to live by faith? Fill in the sentence. You can type it in the chat or say your answer aloud. The floor is yours. Okay, that's a good answer, Sister Stephanie. Living by faith means not knowing all the answers, but trusting the one who does. It's a wonderful answer. Okay, I like this answer too. Living by faith is ensuring that we remain on good soil or having a receptive heart in reference to Matthew 18:23. Another answer, to trust God even when I can't trace him, knowing he is sovereign and loves us. Those are great answers, especially because all of these are active answers, things that you're doing actively. To meditate on good things. I like that answer too. Kind of goes with mine. Before I did the study, I believed that it was to believe in him. Like um, everything that he says about himself as truth is truth. So it's me living in that. It's what my previous belief was.
I like that. That is good.
I especially like meditate on good things too, because it references something else that Paul says too. To think on the things that are noble, that are true, that are pure, in Philippians. So it's good because it references another letter of his.
Yeah, something that um, I've been praying lately is like, Lord, help us to see the good as you make things better. Because, we call things bad times sometimes, but lately I've been calling them hard times. Like, you know, I used to say this one saying, but now I rephrased it and said, hard times don't happen for bad things to happen. Hard times happen for good things to happen.
Hmm. That's
Um,
good.
and like I said, Lord, help us to see the good as you make things better. Um, that's what my faith kind of leans on a lot of times.
That's a wonderful answer, to even connect it back to. There was this prayer that people have been praying that I've seen on Pinterest. I love Pinterest. Um, there's a lot of people who've been praying, like, show me how good it can get. Um, but sometimes people forget that in order to really see the good, you're going to have to see the struggle. You're going to have to see the hard. 'Cause the only way that you can really even feel that good is if you have something that you actually grew from. So that's good that you are, seeing from that perspective. And it actually goes really well with what we're going to talk about today, um, because um, I feel like when I was going to unpack the text, and I even like posted in the chat, and I was like, oh yeah, we'll do lines 16 through, I think I said 23 or 24. And then I started reading it and I was like, whoa, actually, um, we need to really deeply understand what Paul is revealing to us in verses 16 through 17 to even really be able to understand the weight of the following, passages beginning with 18. It's particularly heavy and it feels heavier if you don't fully receive 16 through 17 the way that Paul wants us to receive it. So we're going to, take a deeper look at these two lines specifically. And also, I would like to share a revelation that God gave me, from it as well. So that's going to be our primary focus. And, yeah, hopefully, um, something you guys take away from this is, going to indeed feel, restorative and renewing. Oh, and one more answer I wanted to share from Sister Morgan. Living by faith means living authentically. That is a beautiful answer. I think that, um, at times we forget that we are supposed to be our authentic selves on this walk. And God calls us to be more of who we are so that way He can continue to shape us into who He has created us to be. If we hide aspects of ourselves, then that becomes even more challenging for Him and for us. So, that's a very beautiful answer. I love it. Is there anyone else I wanted to share before I move us on? Alrighty, move us on. And move us on towards our final reflections. So now that we are nearing the end of our study, would you say that living by faith means something different than what you originally stated at the beginning?
I would say, oh, I'm so sorry. I would say it's the same. I said living by faith would mean living authentically. I would say it's the same because authenticity looks different to everybody, as are the missions that we've been given, the messages that we've been chosen to deliver to our community and the world. And Some of it is more faith based. Some of it is more, may not less so, but still teaching us a lesson, and which, philosophically speaking, could still be the true. Like, but yeah, I was saying living authentic, often. I'm sorry, my brain is not brain today, but yeah, living in our truth, living by what's authentic, and like if you were chosen to do or be something, and you're living in your truth, then that's following God's instruction, if that makes sense.
It does make sense. And I love that you continue to emphasize the essence of to live with authenticity because in everything that we've been sharing in this study, it's not that we're running away from ourselves, it's that we're trusting God with ourselves, that we can be our full selves and we can be shaped, made new, refined by His hand, that He's going to take us as we are and continue to perfect us. And Sister Stephanie, I love this answer as well, that it means believing what God sees you as and not what other people see you as or what the enemy tries to declare you are. Um, it's very important to remember that your identity does come from God. And the more that you let that really sit in your heart, in your soul, then the more you can continue to live out the life that you were genuinely called to live, reflecting the identity that has been written for you far before you were even thought of and put here on earth. He has already decided it. So, um, living by faith is living in that truth and to fully live in that truth, unashamed and authentically. And also, I'll add like um, with the fruit of the spirit too, you know, letting him actually be able to move in your life. Okay, good. You have surrendering to God. Completely agree. In order to see him work, you have to be willing to let go. And letting go is very difficult because we're taught to hold on. We're taught to try to control. We're taught to try to dictate our lives. Like, and something so many people will say was like, oh, well, faith without works is dead. Oh, it's so misused. It's so misused that it really makes people think, oh, I need to strive more. I need to do this more and do that more. And it's like, but we're forgetting that essence of from faith for faith. So faith without works, okay, from his faith produces his works. That's what faith without works is. I can trust in what he's going to do because he will. The more that I surrender, the more that I allow him to take my plans and give me his, the more that I trust, then it becomes a flow. Um, Another answer, living by faith means living authentically while loving with God's heart, loving the journey while remembering who's the guide and the destination. Yes, I love that. Loving the journey, falling in love with the journey. Because, oh, there's this video that I saw where someone was talking to someone at a gas station, and he was telling them that everyone gets so fixed on the destination and they ignore the journey. They forget that their prayers are being answered in the journey. Then one day they're going to get to that destination and they're going to look around like, yeah, questionable, question marks, because the journey is what actually shapes you and prepares you for where you're going to go. So if you miss out on it, and you ignore the refining work, then where you end up, I mean, is where you're going to end up. But we're grateful that our journey is with God over here. Okay. Thank you for sharing, you guys. Wonderful answers. And I'm glad that it does sound like we kind of got to not change. We didn't change our answers. We just broadened and kind of deepened our understanding of it and what it means to actually live in it. Okay, so we're going to wrap up here. Maybe think of one thing you want to note or take with you in the current season. Maybe you want to look back at your faith check-in and see maybe what was revealed about faith today, or even something that you know that you need to continue to seek God in prayer, an area where God is calling you to trust, or something that you're going to actively do going forward to live unashamed and by faith.
Oh shoot. Are we talking or are we typing?
Yeah, you can talk. The
Okay.
floor is yours.
Okay. So I had a call with a friend and we were talking. We were just talking about the season that I'm in and whatnot. And what he shared to me was basically force feeding yourself with the word, because I'm like I'm confused at where I'm at, and yes, I'm reading, but like I don't really want to read, but I'm reading. And he was just like, you have to force feed yourself, and if I'm looking for a way to strengthen my faith, the only way that I can believe that God's going to do these things, or He is who He says He is, if I'm in that word, because He is the word. So as I'm getting in that word and learning Him more, and just being reminded of all the things that He said, that is increasing my faith. So even if it's me coming out of, I don't want to do it, but surrendering so that I can do it, so that it ultimately increases my faith. Also, it's it's not walking blindly, but in physical terms, being able to just close my eyes and walk, let the Lord guide me, because what I'm seeing right now, honey, that's not what I want to see. So I have to get out of where I'm at and just be like, I trust you. And I truly trust you, because I've been saying that I trust you, but I'm confused. I'm confused, and I feel like I've been putting a timeline on when you need to show up. But after hearing that, I was like, okay, I just need a new approach, because clearly I've been here too long and I want my faith to strengthen, but part of me just want to sit in the stagnation. Yeah, okay.
That was beautifully said. Thank you for sharing. I think that we all have, um, and currently are in seasons like that where we're like, okay, hi, what's happening next? It goes back to the faith check-in. One of the things that I noticed is I was marking myself a lot lower on the ones I was like moving without answers. And yeah, that's something that I'm working on. And also truly accepting forgiveness, focusing on God, not my mistakes, and um, obeying in the uncertainty. Those ones are a little bit more challenging at times, but through surrender, practicing letting go, then there becomes moments where he's going to reveal things that you're like, I didn't even know I needed that information, but I actually did. And I can trust that me receiving it now is for something later.
Um, Usually I only answer one of these, but I just found myself like because I'm looking at number one, and this is something that either someone said or you said on a slide, where it was like not caring about what people say, because that could be the enemy, or like that's just the enemy talking, or that's not of God talking. And that really resonated with me today, because sometimes when you're making big moves and shifts in life, and when you're going about your purpose and your mission, people will say things that and try to define you with words that you know yourself not to be. It's definitely happened with me, because sometimes when you're focused on yourself and improving, you get called and just because it doesn't look like what other people are doing to improve, you get called lazy, you get called self-absorbed or self-centered. Sometimes you get called detached from reality, if you're like, putting I'm just putting this all on faith. So that's where number one hit me, and it connects with number two, because I do feel like God is telling me to take bolder steps career wise. So I definitely feel invited to just and every time I think of careers, my career, I just keep getting the image of me leaping off a cliff confidently and then being like caught and cradled by the water, like not necessarily hitting a hard surface, but like diving in and knowing like, how to swim and navigate the waters, or being like carried to the next island by the wave and just like, surrendering. And when I was talking earlier about not being ashamed, the word surrender kept coming up. And then someone else in the group, I'm still learning everyone's names, but someone else in the group mentioned surrendering. And it was like, yes, that's like exactly. And then there's one practical way you will choose to live unashamed of the gospel and by faith this week. Again, it goes back to that word to me, like surrendering. And I just keep getting imagery of water, like just letting all the stress roll off and focusing on what I know my purpose to be. And that's one thing. And I know this question came up week before last. Like, what is one thing that I'll take with me into this current season? Is I really do need to work on surrendering more. um, can't control everything. You gotta sometimes you just really do have to radically lean on your faith, however that pops up, and whatever you believe in.
Very well said. I love that you're placing a lot of emphasis too on your reflection is about finally letting go. And I think a lot of us right now in our walk are in that same season and where we're learning to let go because we're realizing it's not working our way. Um, and we can trust his way. And that means that we will have to make bolder steps and we will have to learn how to take the leap. We will have to um, continue to do things, even other people are like, confused by what you're doing, or even if they're trying to sow doubt. Something that I prayed for in particular recently too is like helping me with my doubt. But it's like a doubt about um myself, which makes no sense to carry doubt about myself if I know that he resides within me, that whatever works I do, it's not me doing it. Me doubting myself is in essence saying that I doubt him. And then the moment I said that, I was like, oh no, like that sounds that sounds like the work of the enemy. You're not about to make me doubt my father, okay? Like that's what I immediately felt like after, but it's still something that I'm actively working on because I myself feel like God has told me to take some leaps that I didn't. And I rationalized why I didn't. And now I'm kind of sitting in that realization of like, oh, now I see why um I was supposed to. But the good news is that we serve such a patient, loving, graceful, merciful God that um, what's being revealed is the very essence of his character. It's him revealing this to us that it's not that we're late, we're actually still right on time because, like we shared today, time is not the way we saw it before. Time is his time. And thus the future is now for that reason.
Yeah, that's good. I I felt like that, and when I'm in that season, because I don't know, it's always a mental thing. Like it's all mental and spiritual. Like, but I remember Noah when he's building the ark and realizing like he was building for a while with no rain, or even the wilderness season when they were wandering. The wandering, they didn't wander from God though. God was still with them because he was getting, um, you know, Egypt out of them. And I definitely like feel like, when people don't necessarily understand what I'm doing, I gotta remember that like, I gotta be authentic to myself and who he's called me to be. And realize like he might want to do a new thing in me that, is not already around me. He wants to do it through me, but it will require me to be different in some way, but not all the time, definitely want to like not isolate yourself from a good thing, but yeah, just trust in the process and not rush in the process. Because God works from the inside out.
Amen. Trust the process. That's something I'm also learning. Because the process is forever. That was beautifully said. Thank you for sharing that. Um, honestly, you've shared a lot, Brother Russell. Like you've done remarkable. I'm grateful that you're allowing his spirit to actually take the floor. I know in the past you would just kind of like keep your wisdom to yourself in earlier studies, but I'm glad that you're stepping into all the wisdom that you have it's necessary to be shared.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm grateful for y'all. The Holy Spirit made me laugh earlier because it don't take much for me to laugh. But I thank God for my sense of humor, for a sense of humor. Um, for all our senses anyway, but because I get caught up on that real quick. Thank you for my taste buds, Lord, because He didn't have to do it, but He loves us anyway. Um, he made me think like we were talking about Paul, and I see Paul and you so much, and it's just like, yeah, that's good old Paulette right there, good old Aunt Paulette, Sister Paulette. But no, he was making me laugh with that. 'Cause
Wait, who's Sister
I got an
Paulette?
aunt named Paulette.
Wait, who's Sister
But
Paulette?
yeah, yeah, no, I thank God for y'all.
Wait, what? Are we Sister Paulettes, like all of us?
Yeah, all of y'all really, yeah, that's what it could be. Everybody got the same name. We all in one.
Yeah, Pauls and Paulettes.
Right.
I love that for us. Like I have no I have no worries about that. That actually sounds great, actually. I don't mind that. I would love the faith of Paul for sure. I'll also
Praise
extend a
God.
thank you to the group as well because we have been here for a minute. We're entering that time where we're wrapping it up now. I'm very grateful that you guys all came and shared your wisdom and that you guys sat and reflected with this very powerful message. I hope that it was something that you continue to take with you and also something that you share with others, because that is a part of our mission. And in the calling and the purpose that He has given us, the root of it is making sure that we share about Him. Matthew 11:28. What? That's come to me who those are where very further. Um Sorry, that's like the one that came to my mind. I don't know why though. Maybe necessary. Um, but yeah, I'm getting sidetracked because it's time to wrap up. But yeah, I'm grateful that you guys came, truly. Um, it was a wonderful study, and I feel a lot of joy because of getting to hear you guys and your wisdom. And it was needed. It was very needed after the week that I had, or the couple weeks that I've been having. Alrighty, friends, I pray that you're reminded to receive what God is doing right now because this moment will never come again. No longer live from what was, but trust God in the very next step. Continue to let go, trust, step, and repeat. I love you, family. Grace and peace to you. Hope that you have a great rest of your weekend, and I hope to see you guys next weekend for our continuation in Romans.